Hey guys, it's Jason. Welcome back to another episode of Martial Arts Theater 3000. Today is another part of my Bruceploitation series. I'm going to be reviewing kind of like a countdown all the way till the Bruceploitation box is coming out. But it's going to go way past that because I'm going to try to hit up every Bruceploitation movie I can. And then I'll kind of split them off into different ranking videos at the end. It's going to take a while, but I think it'll be a fun project. And if you like these type of movies and content, if you can hit that like button, it's going to really help the channel, and subscribe and share if you can. It always is going to help the cause. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. And the movie we're going to discuss today is 1978's The Image of Bruce Lee, also known internationally as Storming Attacks. Now, Storming Attacks is a much more appropriate name for this, and I'll get into it a little later, but there's not too much in this film that actually relates to Bruce Lee at all, except for two small moments. This movie stars Bruce Lee, Johnny Chung, and it has Dana, also known as Shu Yi Chen. And we got Chung Lu, who online here I actually see is actually called Inspector Mustache, which is very fitting. And this cast works great together, and I have to say this is definitely one of Bruce Lee's greatest films. That's why I'm going to have this one higher up on the rankings. And director Young Kuhn is known for more like police and crime dramas, and that gives this a very gritty, you get to see that I often mention like the gritty side of Hong Kong, and I love that for these 70s films. But this isn't just, like a basher where they just meet up and bash each other, then run to another location. There are a ton of fights in this one, and the fights are excellent, amazing choreography through this whole movie. But what separates it is, I think even if you pulled out all the fighting, it would just be a solid crime drama, and that's what that director is known for. So his flair he brings to this is like a James Bond-ish meets Enter the Dragon meets your standard kung fu film for the time. And what makes this one stand out a lot is the character development. Even Bolo as the villain, he usually plays this brutish, doesn't talk much, just nods or grunts and just beats up everyone until he gets taken out. But in this one, he has a nice role and a lot of dialogue, probably the most dialogue I can ever remember Bolo having in a movie. And they have him dressed to the nines. I mean, he's just like a proper gangster in this one. And everyone just is at the top of their game. Dana, I'm not too familiar with her, so I definitely want to check out some more of her movies. She comes off at first, you think, just as some sort of like temptress, which she is to all the men in this movie. And I'm not going to reveal the spoiler, but there's definitely a lot more to it. And she kind of steals the show a bit by the end of this film. So for the plot and acting on this one, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Bruce Lee is his normal charming self. He does seem kind of more serious in this one, and that helps offset Dana's kind of flirty and playful performance. It has a nice balance there. And then Chung Lu as Inspector Mustache really rounds out this cast. And on the villain side, you got Han Ying Che. You'll probably recognize him as the villain at the end of The Big Boss. But it's Bolo who steps up with one of his best performances that really shines here. For the action and fighting, I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. The fights are dispersed perfectly throughout this whole film, and it's great choreography. Bruce Lee is so on point. I mean, these fights are breathtaking. I was super impressed watching this again. And after seeing all this action, you'll definitely see why it was called Storming Attacks. And there's just two small moments where Bruce Lee is trying to stop this man from committing suicide. He's climbing up the building, dressed in the Game of Death jumpsuit. And then there's another moment where Dana and him are driving, and she's just talking to him about how much he looks like Bruce Lee. But outside of those two moments, it's really not clear why they would call it The Image of Bruce Lee. I mean, outside of the fact that they want to play up the Bruceploitation angle. But that's also why it's kind of funny while you're rewatching some of these, just trying to figure out why they chose this US title. But it's also part of the charm of these Bruceploitation films. For ways to watch on this one, outside of like some really bad bootleg DVDs you may be able to find on eBay or online, I think YouTube's going to be the way to go. Just be warned, as a not safe for work warning, that the unedited version has tons of nudity in this, maybe the most I've seen in a Bruceploitation film. And here's to hoping this will be on the Bruceploitation box set that's coming out this spring. I would love to see this restored and finally on a proper Blu-ray. Alright guys, this was The Image of Bruce Lee, also known as Storming Attacks. I definitely recommend going and checking this one out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.